fellow Australian today, Tasneem Rock. Pleased to meet you.
So nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Now, have you got a middle name? Because your name is quite exotic. Do you have a middle name that's just as exotic?
Yes, I've got three. So
Oh,
Tasneem, Zabay, Annie, McLeod, Rock. So well that yeah, Rock obviously is the surname, but yeah,
yeah.
my parents really packed in all of the ethnic kind of attributes that they could into my name.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's probably a little bit too long to put on a cast list. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's all good.
I actually find that's a problem when I'm filling out forms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't fit my whole name in the form. So
What's your background and heritage? You're Australian, but have you got different cultures that you have like in your line of family and so
yeah,
forth?
yeah. So my mother's from Scotland, so that's where the Annie McLeod comes from in my name. My
Wow. Okay.
from the McLeod clan.
Yeah, I thought a Highlander straight
Yeah,
away.
exactly. There can be only one. There can
Yeah.
be only one. And my father's from Myanmar, which is formerly known as Burma. So they
Yeah.
actually, yeah, they met in Sydney though. They met at Sydney University back in the 60s. And I am I am the product. My
You are the product.
product of apparently love at first sight. So yeah.
Why movies? Why acting and performing? Was that something that you always wanted to do growing up, or did you fall into it?
Well, apparently my dad remembers me saying when I was quite a young girl, that I wanted to be an actress, but I don't remember saying that to him at all.
Yeah.
When I was younger, we lived in England for a period of time, just out of London. And I remember I would have been probably, I guess I was around about 12 then. And so we got to see all of the theatre shows when they toured regionally. And I remember seeing like Helena Bonham Carter and Kate Winslet on stage. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do what they're doing. Like I
So
just
good.
thought that was so amazing. But I so I did have aspirations to be an actor, but I don't really think I told anyone. So when I was in high school, I used to watch, run home from school like most kids did and watch Heartbreak High.
Right. Yeah.
I had a very like strong urge, strong feeling. I said to myself, I'm going to be on that show, which is such a strange thing. I had no experience in acting. I was quite a shy kid. I didn't do acting or drama in high school. When I left school, I got an agent, an extras agency.
Sure. Yeah.
My very first job was as a 50-worder on Heartbreak High, and then they asked me to come back to audition for part of the ensemble cast. So yeah, that's and I thought it was going to be that easy from then on, but it's
No.
as I've learned, it is a bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, congratulations on Heartbreak High because that's a legacy, and for that to be your first thing, that's great.
Yeah, yeah, it was I think a great training ground as
Mm.
well. Yeah, and like obviously a fulfillment of a dream there. So
Yeah, well, it's a pedantic industry, and I'll ask you a little bit later about movies like not suitable for children, which is I really enjoy to this
yeah.
day. You're part of, among other things. But firstly, Kamala, your character in what we're talking about today, Mother of the Bride, which is on Netflix at the moment, new release, depending on when you're watching or listening to this interview. Your character speaks in your natural accent. Was it an Australian casting, or was that always going to be the case? How did you get the role?
So she wasn't originally supposed to be Australian. She was originally supposed to be American.
Yeah,
She was flown in from London. You know, she's the international brand manager for these six-star hotels. She's flown in for this wedding.
yeah,
Um, so in the audition process, so I taped originally for the initial audition, and then we did a callback via Zoom,
yeah.
and that was through I've got an agent in America,
Mm.
And in that callback, Mark Waters, the director, he's like, "Oh, just do one take in Australian." And so I did that, and I didn't really think anything of it. But when I got to set, they're like, "No, we love your Australian accent. We want her to be Australian. Can you do your Australian accent?" I am like, "Can do." Very
Yeah.
experienced in that. And so it was quite fun to be able to, portray a character that's Australian in an American film. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mark Waters. I mean, he knows what he's doing with all his background, but I'm glad that you kept your accent because it works for the character and it stands out, makes Kamala stand out. Well, she stands out anyway for a few reasons, but she stands out because
All the wrong reasons.
I, I don't want to write her off. She's all right. She does get called Emily Post at one point by Brooke Shields, which is a very funny line. If you don't know who Emily Post is, look it up.
Yeah.
What kind of research did you do though for Kamala? Off the record, we were talking about, you were saying a little bit, it was all on the script, but did you research publicity people or wedding planners or anything like that to get into the mode?
Definitely researched wedding planners and looked into like what kind of person Kamala is and
Yeah.
what her values are, and did a lot of research into the things that I thought that she would gravitate towards. So she loves luxury, she loves high fashion, haute couture, all of this sort of stuff. The circles I think that she swims in, are a particular echelon of society. So I kind of try to tap into all of that.
Seemed to work. The locations would have helped, I assume. Working outdoors and in those beautiful locations, does that help your acting at all? Because you're in the elements, of course.
Yeah, well, I think so the production designer, Helen O'Lone, who's Australian, she's amazing. Her and her team, she and her team did like a fantastic job. I mean, we're already in a beautiful location. So we're in Phuket, Thailand.
Sure.
We did shoot at these 6-star Anantara resorts in Thailand. So a lot of it's already there, right? And then her team did so much to, I don't know, create even more of a luxurious environment. But I will say shooting outside in Thailand is it's a whole different ball game to shooting outside in Australia,
I
because
can imagine.
yeah, it's so hot, it's so humid, and I don't think you can't see it in the movie, but yeah, very, very warm. We are all sweating a lot.
Yeah, okay. They've hidden it well. They've hidden it well because, yeah, it doesn't look like you're drenched in sweat at any point.
No, we're just glowing. But the reality is, in between takes, like wardrobe and makeup are in there. They're, giving us, fanning us down, ice packs, all of this kind of stuff. Because, yeah, it's a whole different ball game over there.
So no typhoons, no storms, no weather held up production.
It's so interesting. There was breaks because of the weather, and there's some moments. I've got some behind the scenes footage that I took, and we're in like a literal torrential downfall. There's lightning, there's thunder, and I'm like, oh, we're not going to be able to shoot this scene. And all of the Thai crew is like, don't worry, it's going to pass, and it did. And it's funny, the weather passes through really quickly. Actually, while we were there, a cyclone went by.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we were filming, and all of this, crazy weather is happening. And I'm looking at the weather thing, and there's warnings of a cyclone. I'm like, are we gonna be okay? We're here, we're right on shore. And there was what was it, Cyclone Nargis. That particular area actually had been hit and devastated by Cyclone Nargis a number of years ago. And I was like, are we okay? But it rolled past Thailand, and it actually made landfall in Myanmar, which was pretty crazy and caused lots of devastation there. So
I can imagine it would have been on your mind that anything could have happened, with these huge waves or the wind just wrecking the set completely. but you
Yeah.
made it through.
Look, I was the only one worried. I think they were pretty certain they would have made provisions if they thought we were in any danger. But
True.
yeah, I was like, by the way, cyclone, but they were
So Kamala sort of plays it straight. Your character plays it straight, and there's a lot of mayhem around you in certain scenes. Was it hard to play it straight? Because there's some pratfalls and things happening in the comedy film.
yeah. I mean, she does play it straight, but I also feel like in comparison, because her expectations for this wedding are so in contrast to, you know, Brooke's character. I think that's where some of the comedy comes in. I really like all of the pratfalls and all of the the cute stuff that gets to happen between, you know, Brooke and Benjamin, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I want to ask you about your co-stars, obviously, but with Kamala, I mean, I didn't notice a ring on her finger, so I'm assuming she probably wasn't married, and I expected her to almost catch the bouquet at the end,
That would have
like
been nice. That would
as
have
a
been very
surprise,
appropriate,
and
right?
yeah, as a surprise, and then mother of the bride too, or something.
That would have been awesome. That would have been so fun.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. I kind of feel like she's a career woman, you know, so I think she's probably um
mm,
put her love life, or her love life has been forced to the side because of her focus on her career. But she does seem very delighted
yeah,
by the love around her. So I think, you know,
yeah. She
despite the
cares.
fact
She cares for the characters, you can
she
tell.
really does. Yeah, she does. Um, I think that might also just be my natural reactions to sometimes because I looked
Mm,
at it, I'm like, sometimes I see it and it's very, very me, because some of the chemistry on set, you know, there's this scene where Brooke and Benjamin are dancing. So Brooke's
yes, that was a nice scene.
but you know, like I was getting a little teary on set, because there was such nice, it was so tender, and there
Mm,
was really great chemistry between them. Like a lot of the reactions are very genuine.
mm. Yeah, I can tell. Again, uh, I try at a drop of the hat. I've got like a very romantic heart, and I'm a sucker for a good chick flick and rom-com. But even at the start, when Brooke and Miranda's characters were sort of talking, and she was announcing she was getting married, that was sad to me because of the way Brooke, their chemistry went on. So it was really good to see it came out on screen between everyone, actually.
Yeah, definitely. I think the relationship between I really like seeing the relationship between Brooke and Miranda, that mother-daughter um relationship, and them trying to kind of navigate. I guess it is, you know, her you know, baby girl leaving
Yeah,
the
yeah.
nest, and you know, yeah, I thought that was really lovely. I did think it was like, it would be a massive shock though, you know, if your daughter is not only getting married, but you've never met this person and don't know anything about them.
Of
Like,
course, yeah,
not that I am a mother, but as a mother, I'm sure that would be a huge shock.
definitely, yeah. But romantic scenarios can be in all different shapes and sizes. Maybe there'll be some fan fiction on Kamala's exploits in the future. Like I
I might, I might have to be the one writing the fan fiction, but sure.
say, what about personally when it comes to romantic movies or stories? Have you got any favorites or ones that you've sort of been inspired by in the past? Are you a romantic at heart?
Yeah, I think I am. I think I am. I'm trying to think if there's anything that's inspired me. I mean, I guess in this movie, I kind of like the whole thing is like, you know, Brooke's character, Lana, you know, she so desperately wants love, and she's been so hurt.
Yeah,
Um, and you know, all of the crazy things that she does, that she just gets in her own way. Like I like stories like that. It's like, you know,
yeah,
obviously there's going to be a happy ending to it, but I like following characters where, you know, you watch them, you know, progressively get in their own way, and
Yep.
all of the silly things that we do as human beings when we're, dealing with our own insecurities and our pride and all of that kind of thing. What do you have a favorite romantic movie or romantic book?
Definitely anything Jane Austen's done
Yeah.
for sure, and Shakespeare, a lot of Shakespeare, but more modern. I mean, the movie Titanic never gets old for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
gosh.
it's
Bit of a
amazing.
tragic ending though.
Well, yeah, but it's still really romantic. I thought.
So romantic, so
Yeah,
gorgeous.
there's
Yeah.
there's there's so many. I mean, when Harry Met Sally never gets older, that's another one that I always liked because it asks the question: can friends be lovers or lovers be friends? Yeah, I'm unprepared for this, but I just love romantic films. There's so many over the years. I just did a whole Mother's Day special, and Steel Magnolias was on the top of my list, and that's got some romantic elements in it that are just unbelievable
Oh,
in
that's
terms of
lovely. I'll
material.
have to watch that again. I love that movie.
Oh, you're throwing me off. Oh, that's
Sorry.
okay. I love talking about movies and anything. Uh, just before, I do want to talk about your cast and any stories about your on set, companionship with your fellow colleagues on set. But you are a major in English and art history. Does that help in this industry at all, or is it sort of a separate thing that
Um,
that you do?
no, I think that it does help. Like I obviously when I've finally completed my degree, because I deferred it to work on Heartbreak and deferred
Mm,
it again to do some travel. I was like, am I
mm.
ever going to finish this degree? And I was like, this is not the most like I when I when I started doing it, I'm like, I just was really enjoyed English, and I was really into and art in high,
Same, yeah,
right?
same.
I'm like, I was not thinking about a career. Like it was, but one of the things that I did do in the art history part was do a lot of film study. So I think that it has helped in that way. And I think it also helped in terms of learning how to research,
Yeah,
and also being able to write as well. And
it's
so
all linked.
it is all linked. We
Yeah.
find our way eventually, right?
Well, I did, and you certainly did.
Yeah.
Was Mother of the Bride always a Netflix movie, or do you know if they acquired it during filming or after it was
My understanding
finished?
is that it was always a Netflix movie. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And what are your thoughts? I mean, obviously, film industry has changed, right? Especially in Australia, but streaming services, theatrical experiences. How do you think our industry as an Australian film industry is going at the moment? Putting Mother of the Bride aside for a second.
I think it just keeps getting better and better, and we should be so proud of our industry, and proud of all of the practitioners in the Australian industry. I think that we're
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
producing amazing stuff. Yeah. So and we should be really proud. And oftentimes people say to me, "Oh, are you ever going to go to America? Do you want to make it in America?" And it's like, well, yeah, of course. I think actors they do aspire
Yeah.
to work in America, because it means obviously opportunities to work with certain individuals, and be part of a bigger industry. But like I also kind of feel like, gosh, we need to be really proud of our own industry, and being a working actor in Australia is something to aspire to.
Mm.
Yeah, to support the industry that we have.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've always openly been an advocate for independent film all around the world, but as our industry I've supported, for my entire professional life and even as a kid watching movies. And there's Australian films that just drop, through the cracks and they're under the radar and no one's ever heard of. But we've got a lot of good stuff out there. And I think Kamala might be your ticket to America. What do you
You
think?
never know. You never know. Like you just, I certainly hope so. I always kind of think, this every job is a stepping stone to the next job, right? And
Yeah.
it's the first time I've played a comedian, like a comedic character in this kind of uh, in this kind of thing. So yeah, you never know, right? People will watch it, so that's always a good thing.
People will be watching it if they haven't already. It dropped yesterday, our time. Okay, so finally, what most people have probably been asking you ad nauseum, your co-stars. I'll start with the legendary Brooke Shields.
I
Of
know.
course, I mean, I've adored her my entire life, and she's never stopped working. What was she like, just in general? And did you learn anything from her, or did you and her have any chats about anything?
So I was, first of all, she's amazing. She is like iconic, I would say.
Yeah,
Um, you know, she's a very naturally comedic woman. Like she's a natural entertainer. So in between
yep,
takes, whenever we're sitting down, she's telling stories. She's just a very natural
nice.
entertainer. Um, I think, I feel like she's a very strong woman. She's a producer, I believe, or as
Mm,
well. So she's been doing this, since she was a child, literally. So she has a very keen understanding of filmmaking, uh,
yeah,
and all of this sort of stuff. And you can see that, like, she's very attentive to everything that's going on. Um, but she's a very warm person as well. She has her family was there. Her one of her daughters was there when we were filming.
yeah. She's very close to one of her daughters or her family.
Yeah, and you
She's
get
very,
you get that she has that mama bear kind of vibe about her as well.
yeah.
So, and like, I had to stop staring at her. I'm like, she is so beautiful, and I'm like, Kat, stop staring at Brooke Shields. You're being weird. But yeah, she's an all rounder. She's got everything. Brains, beauty. Yeah.
And Miranda, I've had the chance to sit down and interview Miranda in person, and she was lovely. She's just lovely all round. But again, someone else that would have been lovely to work with, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wish I had some terrible stories to tell you, but literally everyone was so friendly,
Yeah,
so warm. I think they really, I don't even know if they made an effort to be inclusive and kind of welcoming. I think it's just naturally I think Mark did a really great job in casting these people. So not only great actors, but lovely humans. So
yeah,
yeah, but she's great. She's a lot of fun.
yeah. Great to hear. And Benjamin, and there was just everyone seemed to click. They seemed to be a bit of a fun vibe,
I
obviously,
think
making
so.
this movie.
I think, obviously part of it is, you're in Thailand, you feel like you're on holiday, even though you're working. So I think that the bit of the holiday vibe helps. Benjamin was lovely. He was the first actor that I met before I went on to set, and
Yeah,
yeah, really generous human. He, took time to, sit down and have a proper chat to me about his family, his experience while he was in Thailand. And he was really cool because my brother is I'm a huge Benjamin Bratt fan, but my brother is like next level Benjamin Bratt fan.
really.
Yeah,
Okay.
back from, so there's this cult film that he did called Blood In, Blood Out, probably back in, it must have been like 1993. And it happened to be the 30-year anniversary of Blood In, Blood Out. And I said Benjamin had posted about it on Instagram, and I said to him, "Oh, Benjamin, I saw it was the 30-year anniversary of this movie. Congratulations. By the way, my brother is a huge fan."
Yeah.
Um, and he's like, "Oh, what's your brother's name?" And I said, "Oh, my brother's name is James." And he goes, "Let me send him a message." So he got my phone, recorded a message to my brother in his character from Blood In, Blood
Oh
Out.
wow.
So cool. So cool. And edited on my phone. He's like, "Yeah, send that to your brother." I was like, that is
Yeah.
really kind.
Look, I know of the film, but I haven't, I believe, seen it. But Catwoman, and of course Miss Congeniality, I think of
Yeah,
Benjamin
that's a
Bratt.
great film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was just a really fantastic experience working with all of them. And obviously Mark Waters, like
Oh
I've
yeah.
been a massive fan of Mark Waters. So that was like secretly fangirling over that.
Yeah. Well, now you've worked with him, he will have you in mind for whatever he does next. And
I hope so.
yeah, you never know, right? Speaking of what you might be doing next, is there anything on the radar that you can tell us about, or any?
So nothing on the radar at the moment. So I'm sort of balancing auditioning at the
Yeah.
moment, and I'm also working as a human rights advocate. So
Oh, good. Okay.
yeah, so the other side of it is like I've been obviously auditioning and working throughout this time, but I'm also working for a network called Myanmar Campaign Network. So like I said, my dad's from Myanmar. There's been a military coup back in 2021 and lots of human rights abuses and stuff like that. So for the last couple of years, I've been working with this network to kind of advocate for human rights and federal democracy in Myanmar. So
Okay.
I need to use that side of my brain as well. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's really interesting. Is there anywhere people can help out? Is there something that you want to promote or a website that you can?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So yes, you can go to myanmarcampaignetwork.org to learn more about the network. And we have different campaigns. At the moment, the main thing we're concentrating on is Australian companies that
Yeah.
are still in Myanmar's mining industry that is helping fund the regime. And
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, but if you
Oh,
do want to, if you are interested in that kind of thing, yeah, you can definitely check that out.
no, I'll also link that to whatever and when I post our chat online. So no
That
problem
would be
at all. It's very important when stuff like this. It needs to be sort of said. So I'm always happy to help, and please let me know if there's anything else I can do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Now, finally, I want to get to this movie, not suitable for children.
Yeah.
I loved it. I saw it at the cinema when it was released. I have like a DVD copy of it in my collection. The two Ryans were in it. A future star, of course, as well, in Sarah Snook, Snooky.
I yes.
So, what was that like when you were younger? But was it a good experience? Do you remember anything about it? It was pretty well received at the time.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember it. I was a little bit younger then. That was a while ago.
Yes,
Um, yeah, look, it was just what I remember from being on set, really fun set, and it was lovely working with Ryan Kwanten, just even though it was brief.
sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's so amazing. Like I'd met Sarah a couple of times before, but it's so like I'm so excited for her. She's just like she's an amazing actress and such a lovely human being, and
Mm,
you can't be happier for her. So
no,
yeah, shot into the stratosphere, hasn't she? Yeah.
exactly. And you seem to have played a reporter or a doctor or a nurse quite often. Ever thought of crossing over?
Oh, well, I often say to my husband, when he's got like some sort of minor injury, I'm like, well, honey, I played a nurse practitioner on TV, so I know. And I did, when I did that role, so I played a nurse practitioner on a show called Reef Doctors.
Yep.
And I did do a little bit of research and I spoke to nurse practitioners and, one of them gave me like, some of their textbooks and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is way above my pay grade. This is not. Do you mean crossing over into like that kind of profession?
Yeah, into that for real life, or you probably, probably you could act it out maybe, but not in real life. A little bit more tricky.
Yeah, yeah. On set, like we'd have advisors, like actual people who were telling us how to, put,
Yeah.
insert a cannula, but I don't know whether or not I wouldn't trust myself to do it in real life.
Well, to wrap it up, Mother of the Bride, why, in your own words, do you think people should watch it? I mean, there's a lot to look through when it comes to looking at thumbnails and choosing what to watch. I mean, personally, it doesn't break any new ground, but I really enjoyed it. I sat and watched it twice, shed a tear. You were
Oh,
funny in it. Everyone seemed to be on the same page in the film, which is great. So, in your own words, how do you describe the movie and why should people watch it?
I think it's a really, gosh, that's such a hard question. I should have prepared for this. I think it's a really fun, light-hearted movie. So it's a movie that when you're in the mood for something light but still has a heart, if you're a romantic and you want to see